Movement, rhythm, and conversations with Tafari. Unchain your mind, let your spirit be free.
Welcome to Movement, Rhythm, and Conversation, the show where we delve into the profound impact of religion, spark provoking conversation, explore the world through an open-minded perspective. I'm your host, Tafari, here to bring you engaging discussions, eye-opening stories, and conversation that pulls no punches. Whether it's faith, culture, creativity, or real-life experience, we keep it raw, honest, and unfiltered.
Build black banks on black land, pass down wealth like a real inheritance plan. No more praying for what we can create, no more waiting on systems designed to dominate. Teach our daughters how to own their worth, teach our sons they are gods on this earth.
Peace and power, family. Before we get started, please take a moment to do something important. Hit the like button, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you never miss an episode of Movement, Rhythm, and Conversations with Tafari. Every click, share, and subscriptions help push this movement forward, spreading knowledge, rhythm, and power into our community. Let's rise together. Now, let's get into today's conversation.
You offer me a job and I find out my manager, my direct supervisor is going to be a minority, babe. Keep that DEI hire and keep that job offer too. I prefer to work under white men, okay? White, middle-aged, men with a family, AARP eligible, the ones that got the AAA, the ones that eat off the IHOP 55 plus menu, you know what I mean? The Medicare eligible ones. Give me that. Give me that. Because as far as I'm concerned, the minorities, they like to make you pay back the dues that they had to pay in 1987 when they first got their job as the model minority. And they want to make sure that you have to do it too. Meanwhile, white man, he sees me, he goes, yep, let me give you this special project. What do you need? What's going to advance your career? How can I help you? None of the passive aggressiveness, none of the micromanaging, none of that extra shit, right? Give me Jim, Bob, Bill, give me that. Don't give me the minority, because as far as I'm concerned, anybody that looks like me or identifies as somebody who would be a DEI hire, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not with it. I'm not with it. Y'all got a chip on y'all shoulder that I personally do not have the brain power to deal with. So as far as I'm concerned, hand me to the nearest white man.
We were raised on broken stories.
Welcome to Movement, Rhythm, and Conversations. I'm your host, Tafari. This is where we start today. That sister says she'd rather work for the white-owned company than a black-owned one, even if the pay is lower, even if she's treated like a subordinate, even if the power dynamic feels eerie and familiar. Why? Why would someone choose an environment that undervalues them over one that reflects their own community? That's not about intelligence. Many of these women are highly educated. Degrees are hanging on the walls, certification framed, careers established. So what is it? Today, we're talking about conditioning. We're talking about internalized hierarchy. We're talking about how generational trauma can shape professional preference. We're talking about whether colonial psychology still influences economic trust inside our own communities. Is this about perceived stability? Is it about brand prestige? Is it about distrust within Black business structures? Or is it something deeper, something passed down quietly from one generation to the next, the slave mentality? This isn't an attack. It's an examination. Because if we are serious about economic empowerment, we have to be honest about where our loyalty, fears, and preference come from. This conversation is not about disrespect, blame, or reducing anyone's worth. It's about examining patterns, uncomfortable ones, that continues to shape how power, education, and conditioning show up in Black relationships. We live in a time where degrees are celebrated, titles are honored, and education is often treated as proof of progress. But education alone does not guarantee freedom. It does not automatically dismantle conditioning, and it does not always produce self-authority. So today, we're asking a deeper question. What happens when education trains us to navigate power, but not to question it? And how does that conditioning influence behavior, expectations, and dynamic inside our most intimate relationships? This is not a conversation about who is right or wrong. It's a conversation about why we behave the way we do and who benefits from it. Education without liberation, power, conditioning, and relationships behavior. Let's get into it. The question beneath the outrage. This conversation is not about attacking Black women. It's about interrogating behavior patterns that keep reoccurring, rooted in history, power, and conditioning. The question isn't whether Black women are educated. The question is, educated into what system and loyal to whose authority? Here's a challenging statement. Education does not equal deprogramming. Formal education in Western institutions teaches compliance before it teaches critical freedom. Degrees certified obedience to systems, not liberation from them. So when we talk about educated Black women, we must ask, educated in self-authority or educated in navigating whiteness? Whiteness as authority, not romance. When Black women enter relationships with white men, the dynamics often shift. Not because white men are inherently better partners, but because whiteness represents institutional power, safety, and social approval. Difference in these relationships is not love. It's conditioning, responding to authority. Let's discuss how obedience is learned, not natural. Docility, accommodation, and agreeableness don't appear magically. They are survival traits learned under a power imbalance. Historically, Black women were punished for resistance and rewarded for submission to white authority. That lesson did not disappear. It evolves. Why the Black man trigger resistance? Because Black men do not represent institutional power. They represent familiarity, shared trauma, unresolved pain. So instead of submission, Black men often receive projection, frustration, and defiance. Not because Black men are worse, but because they don't carry the same systemic leverage. This should be interesting. Respectability, politics, in relationships. Many Black women are taught that proximity to whiteness equal progress. So behavior adjusts accordingly. Tone softens. Conflict is minimized. Masculinity is affirmed. The same grace often denied to Black men is extended to white men because white men perceived as something to preserve. Education as a shield, not a mirror. Degrees can become armor, a way to claim superiority without doing inner work. Education becomes a shield against accountability, not a mirror for self-examination. Without emotional and psychological liberation, education simply refines old hierarchies. Let's talk about the myth of equality in interracial dynamics. Interracial relationships are often framed as progressive, but many are still unequal. Power imbalance remains. Silence replaces voice. Compliance replaces authenticity. The relationship appears peaceful because one person is shrinking to fit power, not because true harmony exists. Here's one for you. This is about conditioning, not character. This is not about morality or blame. It's about conditioning. Colonization trained Black women to survive by adapting to power, not challenging it. When that training goes unexamined, it shows up in relationships, especially across racial lines. Can I ask the real liberation question? The real question is not why Black women behave differently with white men versus Black men. The real question is, who are we when power is removed from the room? Until education includes self-authority, emotional sovereignty, and historical honesty, we will keep mistaking adaptation for love and obedience for peace. Let me add this. Education can teach you how to succeed in a system. Liberation teaches you how to stop worshiping it.
Movement, rhythm, and conversations with Tafari. Unchain your mind, let your spirit be free.
In closing, education can open doors. It can provide access. It can teach language, strategy, and survival within systems of power. But liberation requires something different. Liberation requires self-trust. It requires emotional honesty. It requires the courage to question authority, even when that authority feels safe, familiar, or rewarded. When education does not include deprogramming, it simply produces more sophisticated forms of obedience. And when that obedience goes unexamined, it shows up in relationships as imbalance, silence, accommodation, and misplaced resistance. This conversation isn't about shame. It's about awareness, because true progress isn't measured by how well we adapt to power, but how free we are when power is removed from the room. Until education and liberation walk together, we'll keep mistaking access for freedom and conditioning for love. This is Movement, Rhythm, and Conversations. I'm your host, Tafari. Unchain your mind, reclaim your soul. Now, let's reclaim our economic power. Most importantly, stay Black. Peace.
Build black banks, own black land, pass down wealth like a real inheritance plan. No more praying for what we can create. No more waiting on systems designed to dominate. Teach our daughters how to own their worth. Teach our sons they are gods on this earth.
If today's conversation spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. Share with the family, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on your notification so you never miss an episode of Movement, Rhythm, and Conversation with Tafari. Together we rise. Unchain your mind, reclaim your soul.